And for us as business owners, there's always friction that goes on that slows us down from building our business. What is going on? Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining me for another episode of Mindset Mastery. Go ahead and check in as you're coming on board. I forgot to send out one last reminder, but we are officially 6 months removed from the beginning of the year, 6 full months, and we have 6 full months left to the end of the year, which is absolutely amazing, right? And I want you to just think about a few things here, like who you were just 6 months ago, who you were last Christmas, who you were on our last sales meeting in January, as we set the targets for the Ignite event. There was so much energy, there was so much promise, there was so much we wanted to go after. And now we are 6 months into the game, right? And just like that, whether we did what we said we were going to do, or whether we faltered, or whether we went, we subsided to our old habits and old behaviors, time goes on. And I think that's the thing that we have to continually focus on, is that time goes on. So right now, one of two things have happened. One of two things. You're either inherently better or progressively worse than you were 6 months ago. And, there is a law, Newton's law, right? It simply says this: an object at rest stays at rest, and an object in motion stays in motion at the same speed and the same direction unless acted upon an unbalanced force, unless there's friction, right? Kind of like the pendulum, right? If you drop that pendulum, it continues to go back and forth, and through the naked eye, right? And we can sit there for a while and we can say, hey, things are moving along the same way. So we look at Newton's law, it says it's going to continue to stay in motion. So we watch that thing, and every time it goes back and forth, we're like, yeah, it's at the same speed. But little do we realize that it's slowed down. It hasn't gone as far, the 5th time as it did on the first time. And it doesn't go nearly as far the 20th times as it did on the first time, right? So this thing, again, from an outside perspective, we're like, okay, it's moving the same speed, it's going the same direction, it's even going to the same distance. But little by little, it starts really slowing down because there is friction going on. And for us as business owners, there's always friction that goes on that slows us down from building our business. And for me, it was never really a business aspect of it. For me, it was my marriage, right? It was because of the lack of focus I paid in my relationships. There was constant friction there that I didn't realize hurt the overall momentum and growth of my business. Like, those two things marry each other. And if you're trying to pretend it doesn't, then I hate to break this to you. When you do find out, it's going to be very, very painful for you. And here's the thing. I didn't know that. I didn't realize that for many, many years. That the reason I couldn't get to the next level, right, is because there was constant friction at home. And you could try to plow through it. And again, from the outside in, you can say, hey, things are still growing. My business is still going good. We're not getting along all that great, but my marriage is good. Until you hit those moments, right, where there's no communication between you and your partner. When all of a sudden you don't see that constant growth in your business. So instead of taking a step back and saying, okay, what is it that I'm not doing? We automatically start thinking, well, I'm not working as hard in my business. So we go back at it harder. Yet we get farther away. And listen, this friction is a real deal, and that's what stops most of us, and most of you from actually getting to that next level. It's not your skill set, and I hope you understand that by now. This is not a difficult business. You need skill sets, yes, to negotiate, to build relationships, to deliver, yes. But I think all of you are capable enough to over-deliver in that aspect. But it's the friction that we're constantly avoiding and trying to plow through it that is really slowing us down. And like I said, right now you're inherently better than you were 6 months ago, or you're progressively worse. And here's what I'm saying. Over the last few months, you either made more good decisions in all aspects of your life, or you made more of the bad ones. And if you're in a situation where you're not financially better today than you were 6 months ago, your decision-making abilities, and the friction that's all around that, it's slowing down your progression. And here's the thing. This is what makes us so different. That we are aware of our actions, and we're able to shift and not just wait till the next year and say, well, next year is going to be better. We do this on a constant basis because without even knowing, that pendulum starts slowing down. And we can't ride that momentum, and we have to continually deposit. There's an outside force that has to continue to create gravity or force towards it so it can continue to move up and down. And for your business, it's intention. That's the outside influence. Because the outside influence will either slow it down or make it go faster. And your awareness will make your business grow. Your awareness will put the necessary deposits so that the friction is not slowing down your progression. An outside force is the only thing that can slow you down. But intentional action can continue to help you grow. There was a time Carla and I it seemed like everything was progressively worse. And we hit these episodes every once in a while, like all relationships do. But now I'm more aware. I'm like, when I'm not in a good place at home because I lacked investing in my family, I can't concentrate on my business. Like, that's the last thing on my mind. As a matter of fact, when things get really bad, I feel like burning down my business. I'm not sure if you've ever been in that situation where things just get so bad. You get triggered so, just out of the norm that all of a sudden you're thinking, I don't even want to be a part of this. And almost turn into a vindictive type of situation. That's where I was at. I just shut it down. And the realities are this. When we avoid certain situations, avoid investments, things will start slowing down. Outside forces will slow you down. You want to keep that pendulum going at full speed? It's intentional actions towards your targets that will keep it going. And oftentimes all we do is just put Band-Aids on the situation. Things are going good things are going bad in my marriage. You know what? Let's go take a trip to Vegas. Band-Aid. Yeah, it was great. We had a good time. Come back, we reap the benefits of that small investment for a week or two. And then it's right back to where we were at. Because we avoided certain conversations, crucial conversations. And here's the thing. There's a 3-part process to a crucial conversation. First one is you got to realize what you want. Then you got to take a step back and ask yourself, what do I want for the other person? And then take a step back beyond that and decide, what do I want for both of us? And when you have those crucial conversations, knowing what you want, and it's very simple for us, right? What we want in a relationship. We want love. We want support. Right? We want companionship. And guess what? When we start thinking about what the other person wants, it's usually in line with what you want. Respect, care. And when we start observing this whole thing, what do I want for the both of us? It usually is this. You want the same thing. But yet we can't see that. We can't see that, and all we do is kill our momentum. And there's relationships right now that I want you to consider. What is the friction that's stopping you, that's stopping your pendulum from continuing to move full speed ahead? What is it? Because we need to identify that in order to dominate the next 6 months. Sometimes we don't want to have those conversations because we may make things worse. And guess what? When you have these conversations, it's not pretty. Carla and I have been through some nasty conversations. but we're willing to fight for it. Just like I'm willing to fight for this business. And you can't concede in one aspect in your life and expect to excel in others. You cannot concede in one aspect of your life and expect to excel in others. And I want you to think about that. Because you may be doing somewhat good or really good in your business. But if you're conceding in others, guess what? It's temporary. And you're going to be left scratching your head like, what the hell just happened here? Outside forces will slow you down. What we do here is we stop. And we analyze the situation often. And maybe stop's not the right word. Maybe we just put our head up. And we look around. And we observe. And then we make corrections. What we have here is very unique. We lead the market in the highest sales per agent. That's by no accident. You know why that is? Because you're constantly reflecting on where you need to be. And that's exactly what we're doing today. July 1st, we have 6 full months to dominate the game. Because by the new year, by Christmas, 2 things will happen. You've inherently been a better person, you're inherently better, or you're progressively worse. But you will not be both. So we got to keep that pendulum going. And here's the thing. Friction is constantly, the resistance is constantly on you. And it comes in many ways. And yes, family is one of them. You need to fix that. Fix it. Get out of your head. Take a step back. You be the person that's enlightened. You can't both be in the dark. And maybe it's creating distance from others. Maybe it's getting that energy by eating better and working out your body. It's like, this is the new year right now. July 1st, I see it as a brand new beginning. But there's a lot of friction, a lot of it self-imposed. The starting and the stopping. The starting and the stopping. The I'm motivated, I'm going to kill the day, to like, I don't even want to get out of bed. And when you have those feelings that there's friction all around you, there's chaos all around you, there's negativity all around you, you have complete control. And I want you to start today just like that. Because what you create in the first 6 months can be a fraction of what you can do in the following 6 months. I've seen people, I've seen individuals double their numbers from the first 6 months, double those numbers in the last 6 months, in the next 6 months. In fact, whatever they did the first 6 months, they were able to do that in the third quarter. And that's a real possibility for you. But identifying those frictions, identifying when that pendulum is slowing down. Because 2 things are happening. You're taking the steps up or taking the steps down. This is where you need to identify those factors. Because for me, I didn't realize how heavy not showing up powerfully in my marriage, the effects it had on the profitability of my business. I did not realize that. When I wasn't in a good place, I wasn't in a good place. Sounds so simple. But that may be killing your business. Find out where that friction is coming from. And be okay with having those collisions in conversation, those crucial conversations. One of the things I think you'll realize is that you both want the same thing. And like I said, I couldn't see it that simple. So we spent years just throwing years away of production, of profitability, of love, of respect, because we couldn't consider the other person. And sometimes considering the other person is letting them go, creating distance. Because the first question is, what do you want? Identify the friction in your life because it is robbing you from momentum. And an object at rest stays at rest. And an object in motion stays in motion in the same speed and in the same direction unless acted upon by an outside force, an unbalanced force. Six months into this game, and I love it. I love it. I know we're all building momentum. And today's just a reminder to deposit towards the right behaviors in all aspects of your life. Because again, you won't be able to excel in one aspect if you concede in others. You just won't. It won't happen. It's temporary. We're building this for the long game. We're all here for decades. I don't see anyone in this brokerage that's not here for decades. You're in this game for decades, so let's prepare for it. Let's set that foundation. My marriage has become my fuel now. And now it's almost like a double-edged sword. Because when she's not even partially into the same vision, it seems like it's impossible. If I get any resistance, all of a sudden everything seems impossible. But when we're on the same page, everything becomes possible. And it's an amazing feeling. But it doesn't happen with one conversation. It's the commitment to continually have those conversations on a consistent basis. But I'm going to tell you something right now. Don't suppress those feelings. Don't concede, because it's going to blow up. And it did in our relationship many times. And it's hard to bounce back. And it's hard to take words and actions you've taken during those times of duress. You won't make things worse by bringing it up. Bring it up now. Because that friction is really slowing you down. I can only imagine if you were in power. I can only imagine if you're feeling good, knowing that you're delivering in all aspects of your life. I can only imagine what you'll be able to create. Amazing things. Things that once were just wishes become a real possibility. Things that I'm thinking about doing here in the next 12 months that are coming into fruition step by step were only wishes for me. Now it's a real possibility. I'm taking steps towards that wish. It was a wish because I wasn't in alignment in all other aspects of my life. And I want you to take control. I want you to have those crucial conversations and understand you will collide. But you are the bigger person. You are the enlightened person. You are here. I'm not talking to your spouse. I'm not talking to your family members. I'm not talking to whatever is slowing you down. Not to say that they're an anchor in your life. I'm not saying that at all. Behaviors are anchors, not people. Behaviors. Now, if they're unwilling to change behaviors, then that's a decision you have to make. But it begins today. Because when you are in power in all aspects of your life, you'll be surprised what you could accomplish. And that's what I want you to focus on. What is your friction? What is stopping the pendulum from going back and forth full speed ahead? All right, let's take some comments. I want to thank you all for joining me. I hope this just triggers you to take some massive action here, right? And maybe just taking a step back and just realizing the situation for what it is. But we got Claudia on the call today. We got Olivia, Jessica, good morning. Michelle, good morning. Doralee, good morning. Isela, Nick, what's going on? Isabel, Beatrice, Betty. Jermaine, your awareness will make your business grow. And that's all it really is, right? When you start thinking about who you were to who you are today, it's just awareness. Your relationship is better because all you really have to compare is who you were. I was not aware. Now I am aware. And that alone creates massive momentum. but it could also destroy it the other way if we continue not to be aware. So thank you for that, Jermaine. Jasmine, good morning. Cindy, good morning and happy Marvelous Monday to you. Gloria, good morning. Gabe, Cindy, for the first time in a decade, I am going strong in business, health, marriage, and my family relationships. That's beautiful. I cut out the negative connections, the drama of others, and realize that I do have control daily. Each category can and does have my attention. And you just feel more powerful, right? It's an empowering feeling to know that you're in full control of the situation. But in order to get there, we have to have those collisions. The hard truths have to be spoken because it will blow up in your face. And it only gets uglier. There were times it almost seemed like Carla was my arch nemesis, my enemy. And I'm sure she felt the same way, and she'll explain it that way. And from time to time, we'll do the same thing, but it doesn't last a long time because we remind ourselves. We become aware. And when I take a step back and I said, Carla wants the same things I do. We want growth and expansion. We want love and respect and support for each other. Like, why are we fighting? We both want the same things. So find the common grounds in whatever crucial conversations you must take. And understand that it may not turn out the way you want. So you have to be prepared on what's next. That is the most important thing you could think about. And fully comprehend and understand what are you willing to do next. Because don't have that conversation if you don't have a clear understanding of what you want. Because it may not go the way you planned. And that's just going to be wasted time and energy because you don't know what to do next. Omar, good morning. Armando, good morning. Gloria, behaviors are anchors, not people. We got Gabe. Wow, you always speak to me like you're in my head, AZ. Not doubting who I'm supposed to be, but rather push myself each and every day to become who I want to be. Much love to you too, Gabe. And have appreciation for yourself because you are aware. You're awake. As people are just going through the motions, you are awake. You are a beacon. I want you to embrace that role. Michelle, embrace that role. Gabe, Cindy. And most of you have. A lot of you have. So guys, I want to thank you again for joining me for another episode of Mindset Mastery. Let's go out and kill the day. And thank you for participating. And I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.